Everyone, happy Saturday. We're going to learn some guitar today, kind of get back to teaching. I've had a couple videos out this past week. One of them was a little bit controversial. I don't think it was controversial, but I don't know if you saw any of my videos. I just had a really great interview with Alison Krauss that I was very proud of. That was that I filmed up in Nashville. Some people everybody thinks it's my studio that I filmed these things in. That was a studio called 1979. Really nice studio in Nashville that Allison likes to go to. It was great. She was amazing. Oh my God. I think it's a really interesting interview. I think one of my most interesting ones, the kind of some of the places that we went to, that we're talking about. Okay, so you can see on the screen here, we're having our 4th of July sale that I'm starting this weekend. Last 4th of July, I offered this 4-course bundle of my Beato Book Interactive, my Quick Lessons Pro. I'll tell you about the courses in a second. My ear training course and my Arpeggio Masterclass. This is a very popular bundle. It's for $79, and I probably shouldn't sell it for that because that is, I don't want you to think that that's undervalued, but it's I think it's a great way to get into some of the guitar stuff that we're going to talk about today. And what are the 4 things in here? Let me just go over them. Since I don't do ads with any companies, the only thing that I sell are my courses to help you become better musicians. The Arpeggio Masterclass is has an in-depth, goes over arpeggios in a systematic way to learn them across the neck. It's got not only video lessons, but it also has guitar profiles for those of you that follow in tab. It's got PDFs as well. The Beato Book Interactive is my 500-page interactive course. That's a music theory course that I started writing back when I was a college professor in Ithaca College back in the late 80s. It's got dozens of video lectures, and it's tons of audio examples, hundreds and hundreds of audio examples. Then my ear training program, which has 80 video lessons, hundreds of interactive training modules that you can use to develop your ear, and then a 27-page booklet that comes with it. And my Quick Lessons Pro is a 5-hour, these are 5 hours of lessons based on my quick lessons that I've done on here, YouTube Shorts, and on Instagram. That also has the tab and guitar profiles. Also with this one this year, I'm offering my warm-up exercise that I had about 3 months ago. I offered it. There was a video on it where I talked about some different exercises to that I use as warm-ups. So those are that's the sale for this week, $79. And I think it's a great deal. Click another tab and you can order it right now while you're listening to this. I want to talk about a couple simple patterns and learning the neck. This is the thing, I was talking with my son Dylan about this. He's like, how do you learn the neck? It's one thing to know by ear what's going on. It's another thing to actually memorize where the notes are and how to play all the patterns to create scales and arpeggios. So some of the things that I think are really important to conceptualize, there's a couple different patterns that you can do that are, I would say, pianistic. Because when I talk to people about learning the piano as opposed to the guitar, the piano is very visual the way it's laid out. You can see where the intervals are. You can see the different, if you play a scale, it's the same fingering as it goes from octave to octave for the most part. And the guitar is not as much that way, but you can make it more that way by finding what are the repeatable patterns in them. Okay, so let's just take a simple scale. I'll take a G major scale, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about with this. Okay, so these are patterns that you can use to visualize the neck. Okay, so I've got one pattern here that I wrote down. Start with right here. So you see we're at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to play it So it's going to be 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 on the E and the A string, okay? So it'd be like this: 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. Now, once I've gone that far, I only have one more note left in the scale to get to the back to the tonic. And I played that note F sharp here, the 7th, with my index finger. And I set myself up to play the exact same pattern again. Okay, so this is the same pattern. Okay, same finger pattern. So it's this time it's 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9. And then you play this note F sharp here, and then you slide up, and then you do the same finger pattern. So just by doing that very, very simple pattern there and learning that, so that will give me, put a little chord here, give me all the notes of G major. Right, so we got now another thing that you can do based along that exact same finger pattern, we can actually shift instead of using the index finger. And this is really crazy that it actually works out like this on the guitar. Take the same pattern for G major and go. So you're going 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 on the 2 strings. But instead of going to the index finger here at the 4th fret, I'm going to move up 2 more frets. So it's all these 2 fret spacings here. 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Right? So I did the same. That's going to be 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 11. And then I do the same thing here. And then there's the tonic right there. So if I put the chord under it. So that's a very, very simple way to learn the neck and to start to connect these particular scale patterns. If you just know that that pattern, you can do it for any major scale. If I moved it up to C, same thing. So these are repeatable patterns that make the guitar, these are more visual, and to me, they're just much easier to remember as I'm shifting from position to position. Now, you can still learn the scales in one position, but these things are great to use if you want to just blaze up the neck, okay? Some of the things that I like to do personally, I always like to know these scales, and these scales are in both my, I go over these things in my Beato Book Interactive, but they're also in my Quick Lessons Pro, because a lot of some of the patterns that I'm doing are actually in these particular scale fingering patterns. For example, this, what I call extended or at the note or above the note fingering pattern here. So I would call it an extended G major scale fingering, 3 notes per string. So you got, and then you have, what you'll notice here is that this same pattern, so you got 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, and then you have 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. So that's pattern 1 2 4 1 2 4. So you got then same pattern, and then here 1 3 4 1 3 4. So there's 3 different patterns in that G major scale if you're doing 3 notes per string. It actually makes it really easy to learn the scale that way. The only change here is that you move up, you go from this extended position, you move up 1 fret. So instead of being back here, you're up here. So 1 2 4 1 2 4 1 3 4 1 4. Okay, so that particular fingering pattern, once you know, one of the ways you can get these patterns to be even smoother and faster is if you use a simple pick, pick, hammer, or pick, pick, pull off, right? So pick, pick, hammer. Pick, pick, pull off. That will increase your speed. Instead of having to pick every note, it's far more relaxed. If you look at my right hand when I'm doing this, check this out. There's very little motion in it that way because I'm going. When I do that hammer, it gives my my picking hand a chance to reset. So in addition to knowing these particular patterns for the major scale, the minor scale works the same way. And we're going to talk about the natural minor scale, or Aeolian, but it's the natural minor scale. It has the same type patterns associated with it. I'll do it on G, for example. And I'll do it for G minor. And it's going to be, so 3 5 6 3 5 6. And you're going to slide from the, so the pattern is 1 3 4 1 3 4 1, and then slide up 2 frets. And you're going 1 3 4 1 3 4, same pattern. Then you're going to get to that. How are you going to get to that? You're going to go slide up a whole step there, or a whole step is 2 frets. So if I put a little flat 6 in that chord, which makes it sound really beautiful and melancholy, okay? So that particular fingering, once again, is a repeatable fingering as if it's on the piano. So all you have to do is learn this 1 3 4 1 3 4. Then your transition note there, and then shift up 2 frets and go 1 3 4 1 3 4. Now the only thing is here, instead of, you have to go up to this note F to account for the major third between the G string and the B string. So now all this stuff is in my Beato Book Interactive, these particular fingerings for this. And you can get all of these things as part of my 4th of July bundle that has my Beato Book Interactive, for those of you that are just tuning in, my Arpeggio Masterclass, we'll talk about that in a second, my ear training program, and my Quick Lessons Pro. If you've seen my Quick Lessons Pro, you know what that is. Those are these 5 hours of lessons based on these quick lessons that I've done. And it's all for $79. So like I said, if you were thinking about doing it, this is a great time to do it. Okay, let's talk about arpeggios since since I mentioned the Arpeggio Masterclass. So part of this warm-up exercise that I'm offering with the bundle is a thing that I did in one of my lesson videos where I did So I did this E major scale or E major spread triad exercise. Let me do this here. Okay, so I'm using these spread triads. So I got, so this is F sharp minor, so it's E major. Now the tab is available if you get the 4th of July bundle. The tab for this is available. So I've got E major spread triad, F sharp major spread triad. Instead of going to G sharp major, I go E over G sharp because it sounds cooler to me. Then I go A major spread triad, B major spread triad, C sharp minor spread triad, then first inversion B major instead of diminish. It just sounds, to me, it sounds more melodic. And then back to E major. So I did the pattern backwards. If I took just the notes that I'm using in that pattern, I'm only using the notes of an E major pentatonic scale, right? That's why it sounds, because you don't hear any tritone in there. I'm using. Listen again. That's why, to me, why it sounds really, it's removing one of the dissonances in the scale. You never hear that tritone in it. I think it sounds, it just makes it sound a little bit more melodic. And that's one of the exercises that I do. Like I did it before I started on here. So that particular exercise and a few more are part of the bundle if you purchase it. The 4th of July bundle. Now, let me talk a little bit more about arpeggios and why arpeggios are important and why I built a whole course around it. So arpeggios are basically are broken chords. And what do I mean by broken chords? If I take a G major chord, a G major chord is made up of 3 notes repeated across the neck. And the notes are G, B, and D. Now, I talk about the theory in my Beato Book Interactive, but if I take a G major arpeggio here, G, B, D, G, B, D, G, B, D, that's a G major arpeggio, right? And I came down a different fingering here. So there are fingerings based off not just the 3 notes, because I can go... And I can go off the 3rd. I can go off the 5th. But there's some in-between fingerings too. That would be an in-between fingering where I start here. That's a different fingering there. So some of these in-between fingers, what I'm doing is I'm just combining like this first position and the 3rd position, or the one built off the root and built off the 3rd, I'm combining it with an in-between pattern just to open up this part of the fingerboard. So you're not so blocky here by doing by doing it off there and here and here and then here. Okay, so what you want to do once again with these arpeggios is you want to be able to play them all over the fingerboard. And the things that I do, and in the master class I talk about, is I'll take these things and so I did a little variation on a GCD. I used 3 triads just over a G. I'm using this over just a G major chord. But the thing I did here, I'm using this pattern. I'm using a G major arpeggio, but I'm playing it in thirds. Doing the same thing up here, the next position. Next thing up here in this position. If you learn these things, you will know the neck cold. You will know the fingerboard. Same thing as when I started with these patterns here. And then I did that other pattern here with a 1 4 5, so C, G, C, D, but I did a little dissonance with each one. Use that C Lydian. Then D sus4. I'm sorry, D add 4. Then back to G. Okay, so it's just giving a little color tones to these things. In addition to learning these arpeggios like that, going through each of the chords in each key, I talk about things like major 7th arpeggios, minor 7th arpeggios, and I'll teach you how to take a 1 tonic, let's say C, and play all the chords, let's say all the 7th chords. So I'll do C major. Then I'll do C dominant. Then I'll do C minor 7. Then I'll do C minor 7 5 5. Then I'll do C diminish. Sorry. And then, so what I do is I play the chord, and then I play the arpeggio. The little C Lydian arpeggio there. So, why is it important to know these things? Well, to me, knowing where each note of a chord is and understanding the theory behind it helps you map out the fingerboard, okay? So if I want to know where the note A is, let's say take the note C on the fingerboard here. So if I start up here, so I say this is the note C. Well, this is also C. So it's there, there. So that same note is found in 5 different places. C, C, right? C, C, C. by doing that, right, I've unlocked the fingerboard. And that is really the key to being able to freely improvise. It's a way to learn songs. It's a way to visualize melodies and be able to hear melodies and understand intervals on the neck. Because the guitar is just not laid out easily. One of the reasons why I took that pattern at the beginning of the video, and if you're just joining in now, rewind it back to the beginning and look at the patterns, because I try to find things that are repeatable and fingerings that are repeatable from octave to octave, because the guitar is really confusing since you can play the same note. What other instrument can you play the same note in 5 different places? I guess you can on a bass, if you know. Depends on how many frets your bass is. The middle C on the piano is only found in one spot. Okay, let's see. R Shrimp 833. I bought your ear training program for $99. It's amazing. I want to get another license for my daughter. Is it now $79? Yeah. Well, it's part of the bundle. Now, see, you bought the ear training for $99, and you get all 4 of these for $79. So you get the ear training, plus you get the Quick Lessons Pro, plus you get my Beato Book Interactive, plus you get the Arpeggio Masterclass. And that's kind of too cheap, honestly, to be selling it. $79. What is that a course? It's like $20 a course, basically. Is that right? It's less than 20, slightly less than $20 a course. So you can get it through the 4th of July. The sale will be going on. The countdown timer, 6 days and 8 hours and 43 minutes and 12 seconds left. To me, these things, by combining not only these technical things of understanding the theory, understanding the ear training part of it, right? Because when I'm playing these things, if I'm playing this G major, I know what each note is going to sound like before I play it, because I understand the interval relationships on these ideas. If I take any kind of pattern in G major, so I'm taking a pattern. This is just a pattern just out of a G major scale. This is all just G major. Well, that's tricky to play. That pattern is it's using so I'm using the no notes outside of G major. The reason that I know the neck so well is really because of all the stuff that I put in these 4 courses, and that I've practiced it for forever. Somebody says, should I start the lessons on acoustic or electric guitar? Any suggestions on either? Honestly, it really doesn't matter. You can start them on acoustic or electric. I began on the acoustic guitar, frankly. It's I don't really think it matters. It depends on whether you have a cutaway on your acoustic, because in G major, I mean, some of these things you can't play on it. If you have a 12 fret, like on my Gibson Country Western, I couldn't play. I could play the stuff at the top of the fingerboard here. All that I can play because I can get in on the 12th fret. But playing on the low E string, some of the things that I'm doing here in the upper part of the neck, I can't do that. But really, you can learn any of this stuff using an acoustic or electric guitar. It does not matter. And the only thing that you have to do is practice just a little bit every day. I mean, that's really the key to get out of this stuff, is to get some type of daily practice. It's just like exercising. It's like doing 10,000 steps a day or whatever. It's the daily repetition. And I always tell people, it's like, it's far better to practice 10 minutes a day for 7 days than it is to practice 7 hours one day. You're going to get way more out of it. Maybe not 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe 30 minutes a day. 7 hours is a long time. Who would sit down and practice 7? If you're not going to practice 10 minutes a day, you're not going to practice 7 hours in one day. I guess if we were to add up 10 minutes a day, that'd be 70 minutes. Yes. Okay. So that's a better analogy. It's better to practice. It's better to practice 7 hours, 10 minutes a day for 7 days than 70 minutes in one day. You're going to get way more out of it. And any of you that have kids and they've taken lessons and your kids don't practice, and the only time they play their instrument is when they're in their lesson. And if they practice during the week every day, you make them practice, then you'll see, the difference. You know what I'm talking about. Rick, would you play if you had a hurt finger? Depends on what finger was hurt. If it was hurt on this hand, I would play. Anyways, that's all for today. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section, but go over to rickbeato.com. You can find the 4 courses there available through the 4th of July for $79. It's a killer deal. If you haven't gotten into any of my courses yet, this is a great opportunity. 4 courses for $79. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will talk to you later. Take care.